Mario Party. I have so many great memories with you. All of those fun minigames, all of that skin ripped off my palm, all of that whimsy and magic, all of the cold-blooded betrayal, all of the spirit of competition, all of those stars lost to chance time. With a new Mario Party minigame collection on the horizon, I thought it'd be prudent to celebrate this franchise with a collection of the best and the worst of what minigames it had to offer. Now, there are going to be separate rules for both the best and worst lists. For the worst list, no chance-reliant games and no rapid input/button mashing games. If I did that, the list would just be full of those two. For the best list, no repeated games from previous installments and no story minigames because, again, the list would be populated with just those. We're going to be ascending and alternating between best and worst. 5 best, 5 worst, 4 best, 4 worst, you get it. Let's get this party started! I really think Mario Party 7 is the most underrated of the Mario Parties. Sure, its board, story, and theme weren't really memorable, but it took the most risks with its minigames. We had microphone games, 8-player minigames, and Bowser minigames that were actually fun. If not ballbusters. In the case of the latter, most of the Bowser minigames involve the Koopa Kids blasting you to Kingdom Come from all corners of the room in various torture scenarios. Think of them as a Japanese game show, or something like Wipeout, in video game form. The best of these being Funsticle Course. Okay, now with a name like that, you know Bowser's just trolling the characters. That was anything about the fun!
Well, it's fun for me!
This is actually really hard. It has all kinds of tricky jumps, sudden incoming obstacles that will surely test your reaction time, and the ever-looming threat of the Koopa Kids frying your behind and eating up what little precious space you have. Also, this being a Bowser game, if you lose, you get punished, so the heat is on. Literally. And since space is so precious, you're gonna be sorely tempted to sabotage someone else in order to give yourself more room. It's kill or be killed, meaning it's right in the spirit of Mario Party.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I think it's safe to say that after Mario Party 4, the series hit a slow decline in quality. The game after, Mario Party 5, definitely wasn't bad. It has a neat story, taking themes like the star spirits and dreams from Paper Mario, and the orbs were fun to mess around with, if not easily game-breaking and rage-inducing. A couple of minigames are good too. In fact, Pushy Penguins almost made the best list. But the game that Mario Party 5 is most known for is probably not the most flattering. Playing it feels as bad as its title, Heatstroke. This is a 1v3 minigame where one has a hammer and must knock the other players off the platform with the hammer. The 3 players must jump to avoid being sent flying. Easier said than done. The reaction times that are needed in order to survive are near impossible. You could theoretically save yourself, but it's still too fast. And given that the guy with the 1 can feint a hit, if you jump too early, that's basically a death sentence. And as it goes further down, Potaboos appear, stacking the odds even more against the 3. Jumping from a platform doomed to fly off screen? Oh, better pray you don't land on one of these guys the second they drop. It's satisfying to see the guy with the balloons get bursted and their butt burnt, but few ever get that pleasure. Mario Party 2 added many good things to build upon the original game and set the standard for future installments. Items, duels, battle minigames, and the idea of themed boards with different costumes was a lot of fun, even though that one was never utilized again for some reason. However, I do take issue with the amount of minigames it borrowed from the first game. Out of the 65 minigames, 20 of them are old games with a new coat of paint. That's almost a third. And even then, the new minigames were a mixed bag. On one hand, it introduced one of the biggest plagues on the franchise, Bowser's Big Blast. And then you had great ones like Honeycomb Havoc with its psychological edge. And number 4 on this list, Look Away. Look Away is a simple 1 versus 3 minigame. When the music ends, you have to not be looking in the same direction as the guy on top. There's a lot of little things to this minigame that make it stand out. For instance, the characters' faces will look in different directions each round, adding a psychological edge to it. And the faces of each character when they win or lose are so expressive. So are the people you play with, as they either look smug in victory or plot your murder otherwise. Yeah, you're getting that boo bell used on you after this. When you hear the title Rudder Madness, what pops into your head first?
Controlling the rudders of a jumbo jet flying at the speed of sound as you race past your foes?
Well, it is a race, and it does have rudders, but I can't help but notice there's not a lot of madness going on here. I mean, if you're a lily pad enthusiast, you'll be ecstatic, but for everyone else, this is so slow. Yeah, look at him go. This is so entertaining. There's no stopping him. Yeah, put some Dragon Force on that. Come on, this is the first Mario Party on the Wii, the king of party minigames due to its motion controls. Making great minigames was practically gift wrap for you, Nintendo. What happened? The music's trying harder than the actual game. Oh, and let's talk about the visuals. Unfair as that mission was, at least Mario Sunshine's Lily Pad ride had a more vibrant color palette. Here, get used to those greens and browns, kids. The beauty of nature. Can we go home now? Nature's boring. Usually in a 4-player minigame, it's every man for himself. You gotta beat everyone at the particular objective in order to win, and it's been this way since the first Mario Party. However, there was one 4-player minigame that could actually qualify as a co-op minigame, Running of the Bulb. The object of this minigame is to get a light bulb to the end of the room before the ghost at the beginning gets you. The catch? Boos come out of the walls to try and possess you and make you kill yourself.
Dark.
The 3 who do not have the bulb have to punch away the ghosts, and punch people who happen to be possessed to exorcise them.
The power teamer compels you!
The cherry on top in this game is the music that plays if you succeed. It sounds so triumphant, like it's celebrating how you put aside pettiness and the chronic backstabbing that this game encourages to succeed. This minigame is proof that the original did something right to warrant its legacy. Who says Mario Party's all about ruining friendships? Oh look, I'm about to completely prove my last statement wrong. And from the same game, no less. It's Bashing Cash. Now, to be fair, you could certainly be building a relationship with your other friends who happen to be on your side in this 1v3. But you could say that about all the others. Anywho, unlike Heat Stroke, which is unfair to the 3, this minigame is completely unfair to the 1. You have 3 guys with hammers to attack 1 guy in a Bowser suit. When the Bowser suit guy is hit, he drops coin bags from his stash outside the minigame. If you're unfortunate enough to be the guy in the Bowser suit, you are guaranteed to lose coins. Prepare to hate all of your friends. They ganged up on you and stole your money. And now you probably don't have enough cash to fund that boo with which you could have exacted your revenge. I hate this minigame because minigames shouldn't sabotage a single player. If you're gonna screw someone over, you gotta do it fairly. I miss Bowser communism.
Oh, come on! Why'd you do that for?
The most well-known minigame for Mario Party 3 has this reputation for a good reason. Toadstool Titan is fun! There are a couple blocks in a room, and one of them contains a super mushroom. While it starts off kinda luck-based, you can easily snatch away the mushroom from the guy who found it, which adds a few layers of depth to this minigame. And when you grab the mushroom...
Run, cowards! I will crush you all!
I'm small again.
What really helps set the mood is the hectic Invincible theme that plays during these short bursts, and also the name, Toadstool Titan. Not only is it a clever alliteration, but one that really sets the stage for how larger than life this minigame is. By its own concept, it's what you might imagine when you think of Super Mario Bros. Having minigames based off it. Alright, as a concept, Soil Toil on Mario Party DS doesn't sound bad. It's a 2v2 minigame where you and a partner spin the wheels on the touchscreen to go forward. There are plenty of other minigames where you have to coordinate with another player and be on the same page. However, the AI in Mario Party DS has a tendency to interfere. Well then, easy solution. You just play with humans, right?
Show of hands. How many of you owned Mario Party DS? How many of you knew someone who owned Mario Party DS? How many of you, when you wanted to sit down and commit to a session of Mario Party, realized it would be easier to just play on a console? You see where I'm going with this?
In order to get the most out of these minigames, you needed 4 friends, each with DSs. So more than likely, you're gonna be stuck with the crappy AI, which, as we said before, is seriously out to get you. The only way to turn in this game is to have one player drive slower than the other. Now I know that doesn't sound bad, but in practice, it's a very counterintuitive mechanic where you're basically fighting over the wheel. And more often than not, you're going to run into corners and walls. Oh, and you thought going forwards was hard to coordinate. Try going in reverse. More often than not, you'll end up turning around and driving back to the start position. Man, I wish it was a better, more intuitive 2v2 minigame that focused on co-op.
My prayers have been answered!
Dungeon Duos does cooperation much better. First, you have to unblock the pathways of your partners by hitting switches. One player cannot do all the work. You need your partner to get through this minigame, especially during the segments where you have to help your partner jump across the gaps by controlling their platforms. Even in sections where you technically don't need a partner, it's incredibly important to pull your own weight. There's a section with warp pipes where you not only have to check them all in a silent, systematic fashion, but you have to pay attention to where your partner has been. And finally, the pumping section. You're not going to inflate the balloon in time if you both aren't efficient. Dungeon Duos is a complicated minigame with a lot of different sections and a lot of different controls. But once you've got it down, you and your partner will be a lot more hesitant to sabotage each other in the future. I say hesitant because it's inevitably going to happen. It's Mario Party. As much as Mario Party 3 is my favorite Mario Party, there was some BS to be found. You see, Mario Party 3 had some of the best minigames and a lot of the worst. It had triumphs of design like Locked Out, Toadstool Titan, and Storm Chaser. And then you had The Beat Goes On, Hyper Hydrants, all of Game Guy's rigged crap, and number 1 on this list, MPIQ. So, alright, a quiz minigame doesn't seem all out of the realm of possibility. You know, whomever can guess the answer or even the question faster gets a point. It's got a lot of potential. The problem is the questions they ask you. Some of these are fine if you paid attention, like how much certain items cost or how many coins it takes for a boo to take something. I think that's fair. But other questions are either insulting or impossible.
What color is Mario's hat?
Yay!
What number is the game we are currently playing?
3!
What?
Is the current number of coins that everyone has combined.
I don't know that!
I wish I was kidding! That's the kind of difficulty shifts you get in this game!
Imagine you're coming back to this game 10 years later, or heck, playing it at a friend's house. Do you think you're gonna remember or even be aware of what was the most played board or the record on the Rockin' Raceway minigame? And even then, how are we supposed to pay attention to how many coins in total people have, or how many spaces we've landed on when a CPU player can answer that immediately? As I said before, I'd be perfectly okay with this minigame if the questions were fair, but they aren't. And we call that bad design.
I'm the Fiery Joker, and what's my catchphrase?
Cut!